Welcome back to the Ghost Rider channel. School was such a weird time, wasn't it? The amount of weird things that happened on a daily basis does make for some rather interesting stories though. Let's talk about it. The earliest memory that I have of school was when I was in the infant school. I was 6 years old and I had 3 best friends. For some reason, we thought it would make us look like super cool badasses if we walked around the playground, hooking arms with the lads, belting out, "Hey, ho, the boys are sexy, drinking Pepsi, the girls are in the bin forever." We thought that was a diss to all the girls, but in hindsight, it just makes us sound super gay. Before we continue, I just want to jump in during editing and just let you guys know that 70% of people who watch my videos are not currently subscribed. So if you do enjoy this video, then please feel free to go ahead and subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later if you wish. Thank you. On to the video. It was around this time I first got into big trouble at school. Now, from what I remember anyway. So halfway down the playground, against the spiky metal fence, we had a massive decking that was raised 4 foot up from the floor. The underneath was all boarded in, with a tiny hatch door on the sides to get in and out. No one ever used this door, but it was handy for the school to keep us storage. My best friend Paul had a reputation for breaking the rules and being a bit ahead of his time. He was always talking about boobies and making up stories about him seeing naked women. But he was harmless. He was really funny actually, and he still is. So anyway, Paul had an idea. When the teachers let us out to play, we will sneak under the decking and investigate whatever's under there. Of course, being that young, we all believed a troll lived under the decking. Paul told me not to worry though, because the troll only hated the smell of girls, and Paul would bring a knife in to keep the troll at bay. The next day arrives. Paul tells me that today's the day we're going to go investigate the troll's home under the decking. I filled in 2 of my other friends from class and we all decided that the 4 of us would go all under the decking for 5 minutes without the teacher from seeing. Ding ding! The break time bell rings and us lads race off to play football right next to the door of the decking. Now, remember I said that the back of the decking was touching the metal fence? Well, it was quite hard to get to that fence from the outside, unless you're a 6-year-old lad that can squeeze through the nettles and bushes. Little did I know, Paul had hid a carrier bag on the other side of the fence, so the teacher makes her rounds around the playground. She turns her back on us, and we all dive under the decking, closing the door behind us. It wasn't what my 6-year-old brain was expecting. I expected it to be a marshland area, like Shrek's home. But instead, it was this huge, empty area. We had to duck, but it felt like a new kingdom. The floor was covered in sawdust, and we even had a lay-around area in the corner on massive beanbags. In reality, it was leftover rolls of loft insulation, but to us lads, it was our own secret home. It felt so huge under there, we weren't even trying to be quiet. There was plenty of light beaming through the gaps of the decking. Mission successful. No one's seen us disappear. I was having the time of my life. That was until Paul pulled his plastic bag through the decking and fence. We all laid back on the insulation and waited for Paul to pull out this huge secret that none of us knew about. One by one, our eyes lit up as Playboy Magazines gets pulled out at first. But before we were able to flick to the first page, Paul pulled one more item out. A penknife. Or a Swiss Army knife, you may know it as. That's when it went from, "Oh, give us a look," to, "Ah, shit, put that away quick." Paul showed us all the different tools that were part of the set, but we weren't really paying attention. Our tiny little minds immediately flicked back to the attention of the Playboy magazine. I'm guessing it belonged to Paul's dad. Paul demonstrated how incredibly sharp the knife was by slicing splinters off of the decking walls. It really wasn't any sharper than a plastic knife. We became so into the titty mags that we did notice all of the other kids had now lined up in classes, ready to go back in on the other side of the playground. The first we realised we were in trouble is when everything went silent and our teacher started shouting our names. One of the boys was just going to walk out and take the telling off, but we dived on him and told him to wait. The teachers would find the knife and magazines, so we doubled down on our silence. We got Paul to slide the knife and porno back out through the decking and fence, but he rammed it through without putting it in the bag, so if anyone looked in the corner of the decking, they would easily spot Jordan's double D's poking through the fence. At this point, we were all shitting ourselves. More teachers are out searching every inch of the playground and the outside perimeter, screaming our names. It was only a matter of time before they remember you can crawl under the decking. What felt like an hour later, but was more like 50 seconds later, I hear Paul's dad screaming, "Paul!" Paul lived a few doors away from the school. Let me tell you a few things about Paul's dad. He was touching 7 feet. He didn't hold back his anger and was very strict with Paul. He terrified all of us. One time, Paul told his dad to fuck off in the park. His dad beat the shit out of him and dragged him home by his hair. So needless to say, I always behaved and was an angel around him. We watched Paul's rugby player dad sprint to the playground metal fence, effortlessly jumped over it and started running directly towards us. How the hell could he have known? Just before he makes it to the decking, I see him swan dive into the air. What the hell? Oh shit, he's gonna dive into the pond. We had a medium-sized carp pond 2 feet away from the decking, surrounded by a 4-foot wooden fence. Paul's dad yeeted himself headfirst over the fence and lands directly in the carp pond in search of his lost son. I remember thinking, oh my god, they think we're dead. As Paul dad comes up for breath, realising we're not in the pond, he locks eyes with me through the gap of the decking. He immediately, like a madman, starts pulling at the decking, searching for a way in. We all very quickly realised he was about to beat some sense into all of us, so we all bolted straight for the door, climbing over each other. Paul's dad sees where we are heading and he beats us to it, but instead of letting us out, he dives in with us. All of us knew exactly who Paul's dad was. He trained us, we all played rugby together, and he was sometimes our coach. And he was very strict, very strong, and wasn't afraid to kick you up the arse. And with him being 7 foot tall, when he got in under the decking with us, he had to sit down. So we were already next to the door. So one by one, he grabs us, he says, "You, Ghost Rider, come here." And he boots me as hard as he can. I go flying out of the door. One by one, he boots every single one of us as hard as he can, flying out from under the decking. All the teachers frantically start running over towards us, not sure exactly what's gone on. Paul's dad is screaming in our faces, as he should have, but we all just stood there and started crying. Eventually, the teachers took us all in, sat us in the head teacher's office, and gave us a bit of a bollocking. They explained to us about why we didn't come forward straight away, but again, we held our silence about the knife and porno. Well, what do you know? Paul's dad wasn't ready to let it go there. He goes underneath the decking and pulls out the porno mag and the knife. Paul had stolen the knife from his dad's bedroom. Luckily for us, or maybe not so lucky, he didn't go forward to the teachers and tell them exactly what we were doing under there. He saved that for later. So the teachers asked us why we didn't come out immediately. We all said we were too scared because we thought we were in trouble, and as a kid, time went on and that was that. But every time we would see Paul's dad, still to this day when I see him, I'm still waiting for him to kick my ass about that knife. So that was the story about the first time I remember ever getting in trouble. I hope you guys enjoyed the story as well as I did telling it. I really had to think back about the detail and remembering what kind of kingdom we thought we were in. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Leave a comment, let me know what the first time that you remember being in trouble. Don't forget guys, I'm on TikTok every day too. Go check it out, we've had over 100,000 views this week. We're doing pretty well and we're causing a bit of controversy, which is always a bonus. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. All my links to all my socials are in the description, go check them out. And I will see you all in tomorrow night's upload. Stay safe, I'll see you all very, very soon.